Hey guys, so it's bringing you another video, and welcome to more Worlds content. I did say in episode 1 of the final games I was going to record potentially the deciding game, and here we are. We are in game 5, so it's 2 apiece. I'll be honest, I haven't watched all the games. Again, I've been feeling a bit iffy, so I've been like relaxing more than anything. It has been on my second monitor, so I've like caught glimpses of things. But obviously, game 1, where we paid full attention doing my own commentary, that like kind of just seemed it was a 1 by EDG based on comp more than most things. So let's see how the final game of Worlds 2021 goes. And also, just to point out, I am watching this one live. You can see it says live with the red everything. So I am watching it as it is happening. So I don't know who wins because like I don't know the future. So everything that I say is happening as it is happening at the time. Obviously, I'm not uploading this video or doing this live on Twitch or something. But if I upload this video in 1 or 2 days' time, or 2 to 3 days' time, then you guys know this is my live reactions and everything like that. And obviously, in the comments, please do let me know of how you liked Worlds, and obviously, what do you think of the series if you watched it yourself, and also just as a personal question, what do you think of my commentary? I'm not a pro caster at all, and obviously I'm having to do both color and play-by-play at the same time, which normally you only do one or the other. So yeah, please do let me know, and like the video if you've been enjoying the content. So bans so far: Jarvan, which obviously EDG in game 1 used as that kind of wombo engager. Ryze, again, Scout is known for Ryze, and Nami. And then Twisted Fate, because Showmaker. Lee Sin, I think Canyon is known for his Lee Sin, and then once again, Yuumi ban. The Yuumi ban is still going to make me laugh every time, because like that champion, it shouldn't be a Worlds pick. It just shouldn't be, but it's just how strong Yuumi is. It just kind of is like, oh, well, never mind. She's getting banned. First pick, though, Graves, and again, that's a flex pick. It can go both top and jungle. It technically can go mid as well. And then EDG is locking in the Aphelios, which... honestly, Aphelios seems like an absolute monster this world. He's a late-game hyperscaling AD carry that isn't the easiest AD carry to play in terms of mechanics. Mainly, AD carries have the same mechanics as positioning and auto-attacking. I'd say Aphelios is one of the harder AD carries to play, but has one of the best rewards of how much he can carry and how much damage he can deal. You can literally, because of Collector and everything, one-shot practically people in like 1Q auto combo in late game. It's very scary. Rakan locked in also for his support, and now we get Ziggs on the enemy team, which again technically could be a flex pick. I'd wager it's probably going bot lane though. And then Showmaker is going Leona. Leona's always really good. They technically, well, you could pick support right now because you know what the enemy support is, but is there nothing higher value than you want? Is there no like OP picks that like you're really prioritizing? I guess not. Counter picking obviously is a big part of really good level of play, but the bigger thing for me, bigger than counter picking, is the comp. That is, if all the games that we've watched in Worlds in my commentaries, it just seems to be mainly because all these teams are really good players. Whichever team is just a better draft is mainly getting the win. Kennen locked in, and I know Kennen obviously was banned. Very popular pick, actually, from Worlds this year was Kennen, and I think it highlights how much damage that champion can do, and he has a relatively safe lane phase. Now, if that is Graves top, we said like in game 1, Kennen can deal with a Graves top. He has that armor passive, and obviously no arm, like Kennen's AP. So I think EDG so far is looking quite good. That is my gut feeling so far. It has to be said. Like the Rakan, I like Rakan, and the Aphelios Kennen in mid to late game is always going to be scary. What would I expect moving forward? So Viego and Kiana's getting banned. Talon, and then we'll see what the last ban would be. So we technically don't, I think, have the mid laner and jungle for DK, but they could use flex picks with Ziggs and Graves. I would expect, honestly, a Xin. You know, he's been a meta this year, so Xin for one of the teams, it probably suits both. What else could actually go in here? So for mid lane, we've not seen any mid laners right now, unless they are taking... They banned LeBlanc. Wow, okay, because I was going to say LeBlanc, but that has now been banned, so Showmaker won't be able to play it. and Twisted Fates banned. So, honestly, it could be like a Syndra game. Probably for DK, I could see Syndra, unless they go more of an AD carry route or like an AD route in mid. Zoe, obviously an option as well, and it is being locked in, so it's got a positive win rate, does Zoe. 15% pick rate in World, 61% win rate. Oh, Orianna. That has to be comboed with a Xin or something. It has to be. You need that kind of little combo. You know, you're not always reliant on putting a ball on somebody to then ult, but it helps. Trundle. Okay, so they could put Graves jungle, Trundle top, and then Trundle should be okay against a Kennen, in theory. It might be a bit of an annoying early game for him, but then eventually Trundle will be like, I just don't care for what you do to me, Kennen, and I'm going to split push and kill everything. Probably go Hullbreaker. But there's Trundle locked in. We will see, like, confirm where's that going. And there's the Syndra. Oh my god, Huzzy's a genius. So yeah, Syndra to me was like the only other mage. Like Zoe maybe, like it just didn't pop to my mind, but Syndra was there in my mind of like, it could be that. Because the one thing with EDG's comp, you really need to just like kill them fast. Oh look, Xin. Surprise. You need to kill them fast. Right? You need to burst that Aphelios. You need to burst that Kennen maybe even before we can get Zhonya's off. And Syndra can do that. So while I'll say going into game 5, I prefer EDG's comp. And I'd actually say I prefer it quite a lot. I don't like Ziggs AD carry. It just doesn't, I don't think it's great. Like, I think it's okay, and, you know, you're comparing solo queue to pro play. In solo queue, where you've got not much communication, I think it actually can work better because of the tower pressure. But in coordinated play, where you can kind of get rid of that pressure, I just think Ziggs isn't that good comparing to an actual, like, Aphelios or something like that. It is, so they are running, actually, Trundle jungle and Graves top. They could have done it the other way around, I guess, but obviously Graves will have an easier time because he's ranged than Trundle in the early game. But I do think Trundle would have had a better chance in mid to late game going nuts. And again, technically they could still have Trundle split pushing if they wanted to, but it's unlikely because obviously with Trundle having the smite, he's the one that needs to be at the Baron. He's the one that needs to be at the Dragon. Graves will actually have the split push. So there you go. Comps are locked in for game 5. I, going into this, would put, I'll be honest here, I'll be kind of confident. 70% win rate, EDG is going to win this, based on comp. Because the players are all really good. So the only big thing that actually splits apart the you know, games in Worlds, from what I've seen of, like, watching, it isn't mechanics. It isn't that, it's the comp. How do you play your comp and build your comp seems to be it. And I just think EDG's got a better comp. They've arguably got higher damage. They've got really good survivability with Xin and Rakan. They've got counter engage if, like, Trundle ran in melee and Leona went in melee. Well, then they have a Kennen on top of them, like, ulting. That's scary. And then they have a Aphelios, kind of like what we saw in game 1. He isn't as high range as Jhin. But Aphelios could absolutely wreck face. And I just don't think EDG has got a pure answer for it unless... Sorry, DK don't have an answer for it unless they basically one-shot the Aphelios. That's what I would say. All right, so all 5 of EDG in top lane looking for probably a pick, like a, you know, a random level 1 pick. It can get the momentum of the game. Also, looking at the runes, we have some spicy runes. Trundle running Predator. Syndra running Predator. What? Also, Zoe on the enemy team, EDG, running Unsealed Spellbook Zoe. That's weird. Like, Zoe does an insane amount of damage without her rune, but the rune always helps. But, yeah, wow. Kennen running Summonary, that's pretty common. Conqueror Xin, Conqueror Aphelios, Guardian Rakan, that's all common. Arthurstruck Leona, Comet Ziggs, and then Fleetfoot Graves. Yeah, so to me, the outliers for me personally in this game, and maybe it's more common in pro play, but is the 2 Predators, because that's the roaming meta, and the Unsealed Spellbook for Zoe. Graves, level 1, going to just do a bit of damage. Kennen starting E, arguably just to get to lane a little bit faster. Graves the smart thing there, very subtle. Why does he throw a ward behind him? Well, he's doing a big engage on the Kennen. He's now, you know, look at this. He's bullying the Kennen away. Why isn't Graves going for this farm, by the way? Because he's getting XP range and Kennen probably isn't. or there's a chance he might not have got XP. So that's why Graves actually didn't care about not getting those 3 farm. It's about XP more than farm. If you can get 3 minions ahead in the early game, you could just snowball from that at this level of play. Okay, so the bad thing also I would say for DK is generally you don't want an Aphelios to have a free lane, and arguably he's going to have a relatively free lane against a Ziggs unless DK have strategized around that, and they're going to, with their Predator mid and their Predator jungle, camp the living hell out of bot lane. Maybe. But we'll see. So far, Graves pushing in has the XP advantage, and Canyon is just sitting in a bush. This is very rare to see pros just sit in a bush, because you are making no money from sitting in that bush. You're making no XP, and the second he goes out of that tribe, boom, he's been seen. Can the Kennen do anything? He's getting just completely zoned away. He's probably going to have to flash. There we go. And it's good, I guess, in some way. Yes, you're denying the top lane, but Canyon himself, look at the farm difference already in the jungle. You get four minion kills per camp. Zid is 2 camps ahead right now. Is that worth a Kennen flash? Maybe, but you're also getting the increased gold from the Graves to the Kennen. And Kennen is, I was about to say, will Kennen actually TP to top lane? It's risky because you could just get dove. But the Graves is half elf, has a little mana, so the Kennen will stay there. Zoe lands her first sleep of the game, half health. Literally half health to Syndra. In 3 minutes in the game, you can half health in 2 spells. Ooh, oh boy, that's nuts. So Zoe getting, obviously, her item random thingies off the balloons. Some good items that she actually had so far. But again, it's not always about the item. It's about pressing the W, using the item, and then you get the W proc damage around you. The Leona trying to be really annoying and steal some of the camps away from the Xin. That's really smart. Well played to the Leona for doing that. And it would be great if she could stop the base. Will she have confidence? No, the Xin has got no cares whatsoever. He has the Rakan on top of him. He knows he's not going to get engaged on. And he will go back. So far, it's a relatively even game, apart from now top lane. Because of the level 1 that Graves took the Kennen low, and then the Trundle gank that they did commit a lot of time to, you would expect top lane to be in a deficit for EDG. Not the worst case in the world. You know, if Graves is constantly pushing, it still will give Kennen farm and XP. It's not like Graves is freezing the Kennen out. So, yeah, it should be okay, I would say, for the Kennen. Like, Graves might have advantage early. Like we said, they could have put Trundle top lane, who would have suffered more in the early, but Graves is having a much easier time in top lane in the early. Maybe that will change later, when Kennen gets probably, what, like 2 items? Here is this series, GG, is that how you pronounce that? I've got no idea. That's the jungler. He's had a 90% kill participation in all 4 games so far. That's incredibly impressive, but that also kind of tells you, is EDG very reliant on their jungler to make plays? Look at the confidence, by the way, of the Aphelios. This is how little pressure Ziggs has in lane. That Aphelios was just fighting them basically 1v2 without a care in the world when his support is not in lane. Zoe hits another sleep, and nearly half health does the Syndra go. And just reminding you, this isn't even Electrocute or Dark Harvest or anything damage-orientated rune Zoe. This is Unsealed Spellbook Zoe. She's not getting excess damage from her runes. Crazy, right? Alright, so Trundle level 4, Xin level 5. That discrepancy in XP will be mainly from what we saw, that the Trundle was just waiting in a bush for a solid 30 seconds in the early game. So that's why the Xin obviously has that lead at the moment, that is just kind of stuck around. And, yeah, so where would I guess First Blood is going to go? I would probably guess it's either going to be a first dragon fight, or, because it's very, again, it's the world final game. Trundle's actually starting dragon, has confidence that they don't think Xin is nearby, I guess. I'd probably guess mid. It's either mid or bot. I very much doubt it's going to be top lane. If Kennen was going to die, I think Kennen would have already died. Like, they would have returned ganked, we got his flash, go back, kill him. They didn't go back to top lane. So I don't think Kennen's going to die by the time, like, he'll have flash up again in, like, less than a minute. So I think Kennen's now fine, has kind of stabilized. You can see the farm in top has closed a bit. They do get the dragon, does DK, which is good. Not good for EDG to give that away, but not the worst thing in the world. It's a Mountain Dragon. It does make them a bit tankier, which I will say DK's comp is pretty beefy. Graves is beefy for what type of champion he is. His passive, he also gets damage and health items here or there. Trundle obviously very tanky, especially when he steals stats from an opponent directly. And Leona, very, very tanky. So comparing that to EDG, I'd say arguably have more damage than DK, but DK is tankier than EDG. So there's kind of this kind of weird dynamic going on that one team does more damage, but the other team is tankier. So does it really matter? We'll see. It matters, I will say, of whoever snowballs first. If the tankier team snowball, well, then the damage team will do no damage. If the damage team snowball, well, then they do too much damage for the tanky team to even tank. Therefore, they're just going to fall apart. So that's the thing to say. All right, so Rift Herald has spawned. We did see some spicy 4v4s and even 5v5s. Look, this is the enemy. This is EDG's bot lane making their way to Rift Herald at 8 minutes into the game. Double TPs mid lane. And this is how big something like Rift Herald does to League. So when Riot introduced Rift Herald, from every conversation I've had with Riot, their goal, whenever they do a new mechanic like this, is to create exciting game moments that didn't happen before. And technically, you have to, of that parameter, Rift Herald is a success, because this didn't happen years ago. Engage comes off Leona on the wrong side of the fight. Going to get engaged. First blood going for the Kennen. Now the fight's returning. Zoe gets asleep. They need to walk together as a unit as EDG. Smite comes down. DK do get it. Can EDG get anything else? No, they cannot. No Kennen ult used at all in the middle of that fight. That's unfortunate. But again, it's a first blood for a Rift Herald. Arguably, that's fine for DK. Because that's 300 gold plus what? 2-3 assists that's divided. It's probably like 400 gold and, well, 500 gold probably with kill and assist and first blood. And if DK kill a tower with that Rift Herald, it's about even. But yeah, and I don't think any team's getting actual momentum from this play. Again, arguably the Rift Herald will get more momentum than a kill will at this stage of the game. Shame that, EDG just couldn't get anything more in this situation, but it is what it is. Syndra ulting the Zoe does survive though. Showmaker very low health, and that will be the end of that. They're looking for a pick on the Graves. Here we go. Kennen didn't use ult. He's now using ult with that burst damage from Xin, and there we go. Lovely kill. Good decision, Would you expect two people just to be waiting in that bush in top lane randomly? No, you wouldn't. So it's smart for EDG to do that, but I honestly, at the same time, I don't blame Graves for dying there. Nobody would be like, yep, there's definitely two people waiting in that bush for a solid, 30 seconds to a minute. You wouldn't guess that. You just wouldn't. The thing I will say, obviously, as I've mentioned, big gang coming. Trundle pillar. Zoe's got flash, grabs the other flash. That was a really good survival by Scout. So they really tried. They used Trundle Pillar. They used, obviously, Leona combo. The mistake, arguably, that they made is actually using Flash. If they think they could have killed the Zoe after she used her own Flash and then engaged after, well, then Zoe picked up one of their flashes and flashed away with one of theirs. If they didn't flash, she wouldn't have been able to get away. So that's kind of the weird thing with Zoe. Nice exhaust. Oh, misses the sleep. She did have flash to the Syndra, so she was probably okay. But there we go. So the game itself right now is gold lead to EDG. There is a farm lead for Showmaker in mid. Kennen a little bit behind in farm, 3 minions, but he's now 2-0. So that is a great recovery for this Kennen. The early game really didn't go great. Level 1, he got beat. Obviously be the bush strategy, and then the early gank that set him back quite a fair amount. So the Kennen, obviously keeping his head in the game and just focusing. Obviously, it's the world final, so that's really good by him. And obviously there's a bit of a jungle difference as well. Little farm lead for Xin, but the bigger thing is Xin has been involved in both of the 2 kills, and obviously DK have no kills, so there's no kill involvement for Trundle. But, has been shown that we said earlier, GG, or however you pronounce his name, has been involved in so many of the plays that EDG do. I don't know if that's kind of their strategy of, we only do things, maybe he's a shot caller, and because he's the shot caller, he can make a play happen, he calls the play, could be likely, because what is very common in competitive, and obviously I used to play in competitive years ago, is you usually have a dedicated shot caller, a main shot caller, and then a reserve shot caller. And this is like the thing in this level of play. When the shot caller makes that call, you do that. You don't hesitate, because it's better to do it all together and be kind of in sync and try to make it work as 5 than 2 people bailing out and then you're all dying anyway. But if you went as 5, you might have actually been able to turn it a little bit. Trundle having to flash away just off, like before the dragon, that's really bad for him. Graves and Kennen not around yet. Both have TP available, but the dragon's going to go down. Zoe doesn't land her sleep. Trundle on the side here. Zoe could go for some damage, does not in the end, and that will be that. So dragons are tied. A mountain dragon for a wind dragon. I'd say roughly even in value. I wouldn't give either of those like technically higher value. The only thing I would say is the mountain dragon is on the tankier team, who are building more resistances arguably later. So that is quite good for them, that they're going to get more value out of those resistances, because they have like 4% more scaling on both AD and armor. Armor and MR now. Where the more aggressive team, if not memory serves correct, has now got ultimate cooldown a little bit. So, like it's okay, I guess, for both teams. Nice little damage from Ziggs there. So once again, the split mate strategy, obviously, for Showmaker and Ghost. They will probably, again, go Showmaker doing Ludens, and they'll do Leandries on Ziggs. If you are running those 2 mage setup, I would really heavily recommend not building the same one. You want one that kind of goes more burst, and you want one that goes more sustained damage. Graves having a bit of a fight with the Ken and doesn't maybe realise that the Xin is nearby. Graves going all in, misses the ulti, and Khan is going to go down to the Xin. Once again, Xin continuing his 100% kill participation. Bot lane, though, big play potentially happening, and they muck it up, and the Ziggs W, I think, actually helped Rakan escape without even having to blow flash. Tower might be happening now for top lane. There's no defense on this right now. Graves could TP there if he wanted to. Rakan going for it into an Aphelios ulti. Ziggs ulting on the back just to kind of put them off. Showmaker roaming down as well. They really want to commit for this tower, and they do get it. So they wanted the tower. They committed 4 people to it, where EDG committed 2 and they got a tower. I'd say in that advantage EDG, because then you're also getting mid lane pressure now on the mid tower. And be careful for Showmaker here when he's returning to lane. He, by the way, has already... Oh, wait, that was a random sleep by Zoe. He has bought Merc Treads first, does Showmaker. That's the power, I would say. Well, actually saying that, so is Zoe. Both have bought Merc Treads first. Again, the 2 champions are heavy burst mages that also just, they CC you first, and then they go for burst. That kind of rhymes. But obviously, Merc Tread's high value that they both gives magic resist against the burst, and you get Zoe slept. Well, then you're slept for less time because you've got tenacity from Merc Treads, and the same goes for Syndra. She stuns you and then usually goes for her full burst after. She wants to stun you, land 1 more Q at least, and then go for the ultimate. Well, if you've got Merc Treads, she probably cannot land that one more Q on you. You'll be out of the CC before. Random teleport coming in for that, but I think it is because it's Rift Herald number 2. So very early team fights happening. Nice damage from Syndra. Lovely. That was good. That might have been Syndra and Ziggs at the same time. Advantage DK definitely in pressure right now, and they are having the territory hold of the Rift Herald. And unless Kennen can go over there and get involved, I just DK get it. And what you potential... Oh, they are going... Ooh, okay. The Xin was thinking about it, but was completely alone. Maybe if they were a unit together, they could have done well there. I do, by the way, like, once again, EDG's combo of Engage. So they'll have a Xin going in with Rakan. A fairly long range of Aphelios. Engage happening. Xin ults with Leona ulti. Aphelios bullying them away. TP in mid lane from Zoe on the way back. And in trouble, maybe Rakan, if the DK would realise. Nice damage into the sleep. Leona's trying to tank it. Heal for Zoe just to proc. And the Leona arguably is going to go down. Unless the combo is coming in for DK. Ziggs ulti, big damage. Zin's going to go down. And that actually advantage for DK. Mainly because no Kennen. So there were 5 people of DK. And Kennen, nowhere to be seen, unfortunately, for EDG. He did have, I believe, TP... He's got his flash up, but Kennen just did not, I guess, react in time. I don't know. It just wasn't there. It happens, but now the DK is on the kill board, which is always good. It must probably kind of suck in the Worlds final. It's 15 minutes into the game, and you're 0-3 down for kills. Obviously, again, kills don't mean everything, but they do kind of say, they tell a story. Usually, the team that's doing better at the time has more kills. Again, the later the game goes, the less that matters, because everybody will be getting full builds from farm anyway. But yeah. Nice counterplay from DK, obviously, getting a bunch of damage down, forcing the disengage, and then basically leaving the Xin completely abandoned, and he just goes down. So that's really good for DK. They are keeping their heads into the game as much as they can. Divine Sunder Trundle, by the way, mainly probably going to be used on killing the Xin, to be honest. Rift Herald number 2 being used top lane, breaking that open. But at the same time, it's not like EDG's not getting anything. They are getting Dragon number 3, and they got bot lane. So unless they kill this tier 2 top lane, which I doubt they're going to kill it right now, I don't think that's the best play from DK. I wouldn't have given Dragon and a tier 1 bot lane for just a tier 1 top with Rift Herald use. That's not even in my book. They are looking for potentially a red buff steal. Could have been a Graves kill. Graves was looking to take that red because they knew, EDG were going to just steal it. But he was not quick enough, and EDG take over that territory. Look at the vision control as well that they have. Vision is knowledge, and knowledge usually gets you the game win nowadays in League, and always. But again, decision-making, I'd say at the moment, means a lot more than mechanics. As I mentioned in Game 1, if you're watching this game, you watch Game 1, you watch this game, tell me if you find anything mechanically impressive. Because so far, in Game 1 and so far this, there is nothing. The game has moved away from mechanically impressive things to just purely decision-making things. And that is the direction the game's gone. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not saying. It can be both. It's more like chess nowadays rather than something else. I don't know. Again, my brain can't fully engage at the moment because I'm ill. But anyway, moving on. Obviously, the mythic items are starting to get built apart from support yet. So nothing nothing outlandish in this regard. Again, Gale Force also for Aphelios. Pretty much, I would say, in a Worlds competitive environment, if you're an immobile AD carry in Worlds, you are building Gale Force. Yes, Kraken might have more DPS, or Shield Bow could arguably make you survive something if you get hit. But that's the point, if you get hit. If you're running Gale Force, you can just dodge what you were going to get hit by. That's the point. So Graves, he's buying Shield Bow as an AD carry, but he's got his dash on E. He doesn't need, obviously, Gale Force. So, yeah. Obviously, Aphelios is very much like a Jhin in that aspect. So farming, very close still. Khan is a little bit ahead of the Kennen at this stage of the game because he is side laning arguably a little bit more, or has done in the last few minutes. But I would imagine the Kennen is going to catch up pretty soon. Both top laners do have TP and Flash available, so I would expect it's those two to side lane for a while, and they're going to TP into a fight. Weird that there's 4 DK players around, just in the jungle, technically not making much gold if you're just chilling in the jungle. Rakan needs to be careful here. He should be fine. Ziggs ulti comes down, doesn't do any damage, misses it. I guess maybe Leona was expected to ult and lock down the Rakan a bit more there, but just didn't commit to using the ult. Zoe side laning has already... Wait, I think the Zoe's default runes are TP Flash. I think right now is running Ghost Flash with that spellbook. So Zoe has to be careful of not always being at the side lane just in case a fight breaks out. And yeah, Graves versus Kennen. Would we see Kennen actually getting a kill on Graves? I mean, maybe. I do think it's possible, but I also think it's possible a Graves could kill a Kennen in a good situation as well. Did Graves just miss his E? I think Graves just missed his E. Look at that damage from Kennen. That's a Q and a W, and it takes at least a third health off the Graves. No ultimate, no E on that Graves. So that does show this Kennen is starting to get more damage, and has only completed a Rocket Belt. This Kennen could become an absolute monster, I'm just saying. And the negative also of DK's comp, which arguably EDG does have as well. Both teams are very immobile. For their carries. Ziggs immobile. Syndra immobile. Zoe fairly immobile. Some people may argue that but her ult. You know where she's always bouncing back. You could literally throw a Leona ultimate if she presses Zoe ult on the spot she's bouncing back and just time it. These pros will easily time a Leona ult for when a Zoe ults. So she's fairly immobile, and Aphelios is immobile, but he's obviously running Gale Force. So a Kennen with an if he manages to get like a double ulti in mid to late game, it could be devastating for DK. And that's the one thing I will say. I don't think DK has that type of thing. Like, they have damage, like Syndra can burst Aphelios, for example, or throw a Ziggs combo, does damage. But I just don't think they have that kind of wabam, Kennen, middle of you, all are dying at the same time type of damage. So, we'll see. So, Showmaker being quite aggro, doesn't know Kennen is there, into the engage, and that's what I'm talking about. That Kennen into the burst, hasn't even got a completed build yet, and just is absolutely a monster. Lovely play by Khan, though, does actually get the return kill on Kennen, but getting CC'd is going to go down, can't lifesteal. Lovely knock up by the Rakan, getting that kill, Kennen getting further kills, Leona on the wrong side of the team, and she will go down as well. What does that mean? Well, Dragon has spawned, but they may ignore it because they might even go Baron. Nope, they're going to go for the Dragon. Arguably, they won't do Baron right now because their AD carry is dead, and that's going to be their main DPS on Baron. So that is now going to make it 3 Dragons to 1. Ocean Dragons, obviously very annoying. Arguably the most annoying dragon for your enemy to have. And a lot of people actually value Ocean Dragon above Infernal in many aspects because you've all got a mini Warmogs, for God's sake. That's really high value if you get the soul, and obviously mana is always very important. So, yeah, Ocean Dragon to me, oh, this Rakan got stopped. Showmaker just did deep TP, by the way. Not a big fan of that TP. He TP'd, then popped Predator. I think they were just looking for, just a person randomly basing. I think. But that is a bit of a waste. So again, so far, advantage EDG. Could DK win this game? Yeah, I do think they could. By the way, Showmaker did use Flash there, but just got completely locked in CC. But it was really good play by Khan to get the Aphelios. If the Aphelios didn't die there, that would have been awful for DK. Now, we could see roughly the same thing happen that we saw in Game 1. Even though EDG won and DK lost, DK started doing Barons, basically to bait out the fight before the 4th Dragon Soul happened, or the Dragon Soul happened, to, try and get some team fights won before Dragon Soul, and that's exactly what we might be seeing again. It's the same strategy. They feel they probably can try and win a team fight now, but if the 4th Dragon happens and EDG get it, it's probably game. So, it might be the same kind of thing. So, yeah. All I would personally say, if this is ending how it is, I don't know exactly how the other games went. I don't know if Ghost played... Oh, getting caught potentially. No Leona ultimate. Never mind. Lovely pillar. They could have gone for that. I don't know if Ghost, the AD carry on DK, played a mage every game. I don't know. I would have liked to see AD carry. Like, clearly, EDG is prioritizing actual AD carries a bit more. And to me, it's an easier path to victory. Like, that's my point, is if one team's got an AD carry and one team doesn't, and you could argue, oh, they've got Graves. He's not an AD carry. He's of the similar type of champion, but he's not like an Aphelios or a Jinx or something like that. He doesn't have that absolute sustain auto-attack damage that is just all the time. And he's very low range. So... that's what I would say. I just think an easier path to victory is just having that AD carry who can just be in the backline, be protected, and deal a bunch of damage. And yeah, you've got Ziggs. I like Ziggs. But I also don't think Ziggs is amazing in the current meta of, look at the Aphelios' second item. Why has he gone Bloodthirster? Because Ziggs isn't really ever going to one-shot you. He's going to poke you down. If you build Bloodthirster after getting Ziggs comboed and you don't die... give it a few auto attacks and you're back to full health. Especially as Aphelios, if you get the lifesteal weapon, God, you're up to full health in like 2 autos practically. So like, it's kind of like, yeah. Alright, so the Baron fights, engaged by Xin into the Rakan combo, but there's no damage follow-up. There's no Kennen. The Aphelios ult misses. So it was a good combo by EDG, but they didn't have... the 2 big carries to do the team fight damage. The Aphelios did his AoE ulti, it missed. Kennen was not in the fight. Bit of a wasted engage, to be honest, by EDG. And that was using Rakan ulti and Aphelios ulti both missing, and DK used Leona ulti and Trundle ulti. So it's roughly even right now, but I'd actually right now give the advantage to EDG because they have Kennen ult. That is the biggest one for a potential 5v5. The Baron is happening again. Do not use Kennen ult for this Leona. Please, 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 please. They are doing Baron, by the way. They're doing damage to her. Oh, that Leona lives. Will it make it that DK is not doing... They are doing the Baron, by the way. The Graves and the Trundle have stayed on the Baron, and EDG have not realised. Or they just haven't thought that, like, they can't be doing it. They're here. This could be really bad for EDG if DK actually get it. And I think they're going to do it. Those two champions are soloing it. If Rakan gets there in time. Rakan doesn't have ulti. Will he ward it? He will. And the Baron has been taken. Oh my god, that's huge. That is insane. That one, they had the gumption or the balls to do that. That was awesome. But the bigger thing, where was EDG? Like, oh, there's, we're getting the Leona, nice damage, right? We see the others. Where's the Graves and the Trundle when they were around Baron? You know they were at Baron. Where do you think they are? They haven't just gone back randomly. Baron isn't that hard to kill anymore. So, like, they're doing the Baron. That's really good play, though. Like, I like that. That's exciting. Ugh. All right, so, kill involvement, by the way. Xin, 100% kill involvement. Kennen, 100% kill involvement. So, a pretty boring game for mid and bot lane right now. 4th dragon spawning. Baron buff is up. Leona big engage. Onto the Kennen. He Zhonya's early to avoid damage. He hasn't pressed ulti yet. He's backing out without using ulti. He's actually going back. Why is he going back? He's got teleport. He can actually go back if he wanted to and then TP right where that dragon is on that control ward. You'll see it any second. Wait for it. Where's he TPing? Is he going behind them? Oh, he's going in the try below. Okay. I guess wasn't confident. Oh, is he looking for a... Oh, no, he's going over to the pit. Enemy team is going to engage, and watch this. So, Rakan goes down. It's fine. Exhausted does the Kennen, so the big damage is going. Dragon is dead. Dragon Soul victory for EDG. Can DK maximize kills? They have to try their best. Aphelios over to the side. Heavy damage. Zoe damage too. They are getting demolished now. So, Zoe probably can catch up to that Ziggs, which she will. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an ace for EDG. Dragon Soul and an ace. Baron is now gone for the whole of DK. They've all died. And I'll be honest, like, I don't know. I hope that the series was exciting for everybody. Obviously, we watched the game 1, and that seemed to be a pretty comp-based, easy win for EDG. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the other games are like perfectly. I caught glimpses of them. Game 5 just seems to be the same. I don't like DK's comp. I don't know that their win condition is what. Like, they don't have... I don't know, like, they've got, like, single pick. They don't have, like, this kind of big fight here. It's what I mentioned earlier. Look at this Kennen value and the Aphelios ult value. Look at the enemy team blowing up, and Kennen even gets exhausted. They just blow away. DK don't have that. They don't have that big, wada, everyone's dead in a moment. And I think that's really missing from their comp. I don't know. Because also, it's not just the big wada. There's also Aphelios who's doing so much sustain AD damage too. DK don't have that. Graves is a more burst AD champion. Ziggs is sustain but AP. And then they've got Syndra in burst AP. Where EDG have got sustain burst from Kennen, does kind of both. Zoe is more burst. They've got Aphelios for that sustain AD carry damage, but also can crit and just kill somebody in one go. And then they've got the tankiness and protection, or the engage, can use them in all regards, by Xin and Rakan. To me, it's just a better comp that EDG has, and it's really, like, it's not even close based on comp, is what I would say. Ugh. Like, how would I have fixed DK's comp, by the way? 1, get rid of Ziggs. Like, just get rid of... I like the champion a lot, but replace it with an actual AD carry that's a late-game hyperscaler. That's one thing I would have done straight away. 2nd, not Trundle. Trundle doesn't have enough lockdown, I think, that you need in the game nowadays. So something like, obviously, Jarvan got banned for a reason, because Jarvan is pretty good, same as Xin. Maybe they should have prioritized picking Xin when Jarvan was banned. But I don't know. I just don't think Trundle offers that much in regards of locking people down. And that's what a lot of these fights, if you notice, are. It's locking people down and then killing them. I just don't think DK have that great lock. Like, yes, they've got Leona, which is awesome. That's about it. Like, Trundle's got his pillar, which you can avoid. Ziggs has got a W. Syndra's got a stun that isn't great. Like, it's not locking people down per se. Compared to a Zoe Sleep that lasts seconds, Kennen is stunning multiple people at the same time, Xin has got CC'd himself, Aphelios has got the Grav Gun, and then Rakan is, like, basically equivalent of Leona. Like, that's my point. It's just EDG have got more damage, arguably, and probably more lockdown as well, and better throughput of damage in both burst and sustain damage. It's just comp. So I would expect this to be not the hardest victory for EDG, which... And by the way, I did see, by the way, I'm pretty sure EDG is Chinese and DK is Korean. So yeah, I think I heard that when I was watching one of the other games after the one I commentated. So EDG starting to move forward into the enemy territory, taking over. Again, it's kind of like the grip of death when this happens, because like you're getting less territory in the game. It becomes very hard to see an opening when you're confined so much. Now, the one thing I will say is, weirdly, your gold income can spike if you're in the position of getting kind of pushed in, because all the minions are coming to you and you can farm relatively safe. Where you're getting minions starved if you're EDG when everything's pushed in. So if you can actually hold out the game a long time in this position, you actually can catch up a lot in gold. Now, can you catch up, 3,500 gold? Yeah, but you've got to be very careful and you can't die in this regard. If even one person dies, and I'll say if one person dies for either team, it's really bad at this stage. Because like if you look at the items, even though it's half an hour just over, because of the farm is that good in pro play, everybody is what you'd actually call fed in terms of solo queue. Like, look at the items. There's 2, if not 3 items complete on most people. That's pretty fed for half an hour. Counter engage happening. Big Ziggs ult. That's not bad. Again, Viper takes a lot of damage. He's about half health, but he'll just literally auto attack a couple of times and he'll be back to full health. That's the problem. If you don't burst and just one-shot him, he'll just make a comeback in the fight. And now DK on the back foot. And EDG is going to start getting that kind of tempo back. So Elder Dragon in 30 seconds. Also, Baron is up, by the way. And it looks like... I'd be surprised if EDG are okay with giving Elder. But they're going to just burst it. And they're probably just wanting... They're not going to let us do Baron. They're going to try and follow us. Let's fight them. The problem that you have is Kennen is there, not there again. He will TP. Where will he TP? He's TPing down. Little bit out of position. Was that an Aphelios ult? That was a Aphelios ult. He missed it again. Okay, this could be big. This Ken ultimate. Do the Baron. Oh, they should have done the Baron. They could have done it. All right, so Kennen is looking for a side engage. Honestly, I think EDG, with that TP of baiting, getting... Oh, Kennen dodges the damage into the Rakan ulti with on the Trundle. Syndra ults the Kennen, doesn't kill him, and that's the point. If you don't burst them, you're in trouble. Nice kill on the Trundle. Now go Elder Dragon. You don't have any Smite potential Graves ulti. You don't have a Smite steal. So this should be a relatively easy Elder Dragon for EDG. They are looking for some damage. And again, where's Viper? So there's Viper on it. And as I've mentioned, he's been poked a bit here or there. And he's basically back to full health. That's the point. If you don't burst nowadays in League, people will just lifesteal straight away. Kennen bullying Showmaker away. That's quite big. Engage does come in. And the disengage also. They do get 1 kill. Then the Elder Dragon is in the mix at all this time. Syndra kills Kennen. That's quite big. But also that means Syndra is not in this fight. 4v2. Can they do anything, the 2 DK players? They have to go for it, by the way. Because if they don't kill this, if EDG get it, and they do, it's game over. Like, at this point, they have Dragon Soul, they have Elder Dragon, which is powered up because they have the Dragon Soul. They've got more dragons, therefore the Elder Dragon is also stronger. Yeah, like, the only thing that I would say that DK could do right now, like, and they probably can't even get away with it, is do Baron. And I don't think they can get away with it, because Ghost has got no mana. And they don't have, to be honest, great Baron damage. But again, that was a bit of a sloppy fight. There were some really good things from DK there, and there were some good things from EDG, but it was quite sloppy. So that Zoe Q into the Trundle, watch by the way, because it's the E, doesn't die, the E follow-up gets the kill on Trundle. So that was really good by Scout. Would they have actually gone for the Elder if the Trundle didn't die? Maybe, maybe not, because again, with delaying like this back and forth, Trundle would have gone back and then ran straight here with Predator. So he might have been able to get back there in time. So Kennen at below is fighting the Syndra. The Baron dance is now going to start, by the way. Was that the Ziggs ulti that like missed most? I think it's, yeah, Ziggs ulti actually missed most. And, oh no, Canyon is getting caught. He will go down. He's out of position. And with Elder Dragon, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Jungle dead. No now potential smite steal on this now as well. 4 dragons, Dragon Soul, Elder Dragon, and now Baron. They are doing a good thing, DK, of getting a tower in mid. It's a little bit of gold income. You may as well try. But, yeah, this is... like, I don't know what to say, because, like, this... to me, it's just comp that has won the game. I don't think, like, DK has technically been outplayed. I just think they've... Oh, one shot! Zoe one shot onto the Ziggs. That is probably a very deflating moment. Scout has to be careful. Is going to probably go down. Would be... Ooh, Zhonya's not a great one. Has to flash instantly. Does flash instantly. Gets stunned anyway. Does go down. Okay, a 1-for-1 technically. But that is a bit of a deflating moment when you literally get one shot, obviously with aid of Elder Dragon. But now, 2 people basing the other side of the map, out of position, out of time, and they're breaking open the base for the first time in Game 5. Inhib going down, what will EDG do? Will they probably just continue on the tower? Will they rotate? They'll probably just continue on the tower. They might even go for a dive. They have Kennen ult available, and DK will go down a lot. You know, you also have the knowledge. Leona ult used, missed. Leona getting engaged on. Does Rakan ult happen as well? Safe Aphelios. They can't get to him. And that's the negative also of Trundle. You ain't getting to an Aphelios as a Trundle. Like, are you? Like, typically. No. You need something that can get on backline. And that's the exact same thing that kind of happened in Game 1. They couldn't get to the Jhin. And the same thing's happening here. DK can't get to the Aphelios. It's like they needed something... Well, they needed a better engage. Like, yes, they've got Leona, but that's all they've got. They needed, like, something else, to be honest. So, Zoe, let's watch this again. So, Ziggs is 100% health right now. Gets slept. Unfortunately, Khan doesn't block it. Now, why doesn't Khan block that? Honestly, he would have died. With Elder Dragon, he probably would have just died also. So, didn't want to die himself. Unfortunate for him, though, that Ghost died. And now the pressure arguably will now, turn to bot lane because you have opened top lane, which is going to lead minions to go to top lane. You have to deal with that. And the furthest away point from that is bot. So when you have minions in top, you have to deal with that. One enemy has to go there. So you're really far away from the other side of the base. Again, that strategy has been in League of Legends since time began. So, yeah. Right, so they're going to be pressuring now. There is even a minion wave in mid, and the Kennen is there also buffing those up with Baron. So again, being that a little bit extra annoying. Has TP does the Kennen, so if randomly DK decide to go for an insane engage, they could. That was a Aphelios ulti as well. Not the best Aphelios ults, to be honest, this game. But that is going to be Inhib going down number 2, and that is going to be Inhib going down number 3. And weirdly, the same thing has happened. In Game 1, we saw the Yasuo of Khan split pushing at the wrong time. The exact same thing has happened this game. So, TPs are coming. Zoe wasn't even there. Kennen ulti in the middle. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. GG. World Champions EDG. Unless they can do something insane right now, which I just don't think they can do. But there you go, everybody. That is the World Championship for this year. I'll be honest, for me personally, I'm not massive into Worlds. Bit anticlimactic. The 2 games that I commentated and watched myself, both of them just got won because of comp. Like, I genuinely didn't see any mechanically outplayed anything this game. It was purely comp. But again, it made it to Game 5, so 2 wins apiece, and then Game 5 was the decider. So maybe the other games that I just didn't commentate were better in that aspect. I don't know. But there we go. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, do throw a like on the video, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Call down!